Hello, my name is Kieran and I am Kieran Chats, and today I am chatting all things WWE Unreal. Season 3 has just dropped on Netflix. I have watched the entire season. It follows John Cena on his retirement tour all the way through until WrestleMania 42 that was held in Las Vegas for the second year in a row. But let's get into episode 1 of WWE Unreal Season 3. This episode is titled The Why. This episode of WWE Unreal is called The Why because it's all about John Cena explaining to us why he made the decisions he made in his retirement tour. For example, the first scene that we see is Logan Paul and John Cena in the ring. They are going over their match. Logan Paul has to jump off the top rope and John Cena is telling him he needs to put his head a certain way. He needs to stop over-rotating at a certain moment in order for John Cena to be able to actually get him up over and lift his whole weight, Logan Paul's whole body, over his head and give him the attitude adjustment. It's actually a really cool insight into how a match in WWE is actually put together. Not only are we getting John Cena in this episode, we also get introduced to Braun Breaker, who they're very much putting as the next big thing in WWE. AJ Lee returns to WWE in this episode as well, and let me tell you, CM Punk gets so emotional. Now, in further WWE Unreal episodes, we learn of the passing of Larry, and I've never seen a man get more emotional. As someone who's lost a dog, CM Punk, I am 100% with you. It is the most traumatic thing ever, but we get a really cool story about a nickname that CM Punk calls AJ Lee. He apparently calls her Ape, and that makes her go absolutely apeshit. But he tells a story, and she does too, about when CM Punk got a message from Bret the Hitman Hart one day, just generally asking how CM Punk was, and also saying, hey, how is Ape getting on? And CM Punk tells that to AJ Lee. So AJ Lee basically is affectionately known to Bret the Hitman Hart as Ape. And I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? We then dig deep into AJ Lee's return to WWE. We get to see her backstage return in the gorilla position. She tells us she had no contract signed up to 30 minutes before she made her return to WWE television. We get to see her in the gorilla position and she screams, "I haven't skipped in 10 years. It's really cool. The biggest thing about it is that AJ Lee cannot get herself back into character. We see that in the gorilla position. We see that with Triple H and her. We see that with Michael Hayes and her. She says she cannot get into character. Then her music hits. She goes straight through that curtain and she says the switch was flipped and she went straight back into AJ Lee, the character. It is an absolute moment. I liked and I loved this moment of actual insight we got in the gorilla position with AJ Lee returning to WWE. And then, of course, we meet Larry. They introduce us to AJ Lee and CM Punk's gorgeous little dog. Unfortunately, we now know has passed away. But they introduce us to Larry. Larry even got his own photo shoot at WrestlePalooza when CM Punk and AJ Lee teamed up to take on Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. It is the cutest possible thing. They've got a little buggy and everything for Larry. It's so cute. It's hard to watch, though, because they're doing this, obviously, before Larry has passed away, and then you know Larry has passed away, so it hits you right in the feels. We then pick back up on the John Cena retirement tour, and John Cena says, why Brock Lesnar? Why did we do that? And he simply says, Brock Lesnar is not once in a generation, he is once in a genre. He says there's only one Brock Lesnar in professional wrestling, and actually, before they were going to go with Logan Paul, the next man after the Brock Lesnar stuff was actually going to be Drew McIntyre. But then they listened to the audience and they actually changed their mind. He says that he did a promo with Logan Paul in Dublin, and Dublin started chanting for AJ Styles. So John Cena decided, I'm going to put out a tweet saying, AJ versus Cena, do you want this to happen? And that's exactly what happened. They listened to the audience. Triple H listened to the audience. John Cena listened to the audience. John Cena is really aware of the audience. So what did we get? We got John Cena and AJ Styles, a crown jewel. This episode then ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger, I suppose, because we get introduced to the first of what is going to be an ongoing storyline in this WWE Unreal series, and that is the injuries to the Vision. The very first injury we get is a match of Crown Jewel between Cody and Seth Rollins, and I did not hear this. Something we're getting during this WWE Unreal as well is they are isolating the wrestlers' audio in the ring when they get injured or when something bad happens. It's really insightful. Seth Rollins, after he does the coast-to-coast move on Cody Rhodes, he lands awkwardly on his shoulder. We now know that his shoulder would be absolutely messed up. He didn't know at the time, but he leaned in to Cody Rhodes and to the referee and he said, "Oh, my shoulder is probably broke here." And Seth Rollins is distraught backstage after this match. So obviously we know that Seth Rollins goes on, he wins that Crown Jewel Championship against Cody Rhodes, Triple H. We're following him from the gorilla position during this whole time, and Triple H is going, ask him, is he okay? He's kind of seeing, oh, maybe his shoulder's okay, maybe it's not, but it's clearly not okay at all. Triple H goes in, he puts the Crown Jewel belt on Seth Rollins, and he can tell at that point, because Seth tells him, he says, my shoulder is absolutely messed up. Seth Rollins comes to the back. He says to the guy who's filming WWE Unreal, he asks him, what month are we in? He was doing the WrestleMania math in his head. It's absolutely tragic. And he's really, really emotional because it dawns on him he's going to have to go to Birmingham, Alabama. He's going to have to get shoulder surgery and he's going to miss WrestleMania in Vegas. This episode of WWE Unreal ends back at the writers' room in the WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. There's very little talking. It's just Triple H in there with all the writers. He leans back on his chair. He puts his hands on his head. He leans back. There's no talking in the room. We just know that Seth Rollins is injured. All their WrestleMania plans are up in smoke. There is somebody wiping the whiteboard. You don't know what's happening. And just Triple H says, right, what's next? I actually really enjoyed this episode of WWE Unreal. There wasn't a whole lot of John Cena in this one. I thought there was going to be more. The next episode, which is episode 2 called The Last Time, is now has a lot more of John Cena in this though. But the insight we got into AJ Lee here was brilliant. The stuff with her in the gorilla position, the stuff with Larry, all of that stuff was good. And then of course we get into the Seth Rollins injury as well, which will develop so much more. And of course we know it's going to develop into Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed of the Vision, and everybody thinking that the Vision is cursed. And then we know that Logan Paul got injured too, so maybe the Vision is cursed. That's my review of WWE Episode 1 of Season 3 of WWE Unreal. Do make sure you follow along for the rest of those videos and my review of WWE Unreal Season 3.